Mars retrograde is going to be a dominating signature that we are all going to be working with both personally and collectively for the months of December, January, and February. And that story has been crusting for some time. We're about to take it to the next level here as Mars enters Leo on November 3rd. And this is exactly where that retrograde story is going to begin. So we're going to start talking about that here. I have some thoughts on Mars and Leo, which we're going to be working with for the next 7 months. So let's get into it right now. Mars, the planet of primal impulse, enters the regal sign of Leo on November 3rd, 2024, and is going to be hanging out in Leo until June 17th, 2025. So yeah, normally Mars is going to stay in the same sign for only about 2 months usually. But when Mars goes retrograde, it's typical for us to see Mars hang out in a sign for 7 months. This is not weird. It's just we want to pay attention to when that's happening. So in this video, we're going to be talking about Mars retrograde at length because this is going to be where Mars retrograde begins. However, before we get into it, I want you to check out my Mars in Cancer video because I also talk about this there. And this retrograde is going to be splitting its time between Leo and Cancer. So even if you're watching this video in December, go back and watch that Mars and Cancer video because Mars will retrograde back into Cancer in early January and come back into Leo later on. So we're going to be working with this for a while. So first, let's talk about what Mars retrograde is about. So Mars retrograde is a time of pause. It is a time when Mars is about halfway through its cycle with the sun. So this is what I call halftime. If you are a sports fan, or even if you're not a sports fan, you know that a lot of times there's a thing called halftime. And that's when the players rest and regroup, rehydrate. And a lot of times you have to re-strategize at that time. So this is a time in our lives where I find Mars retrogrades tend to knock me out. Some people experience Mars retrogrades differently. For example, if you have Mars retrograde natally, this could end up being a pretty productive time for you, actually, a time of importance for you. For many of us, we're going to be feeling that need to sit down. We're tired. We need to reevaluate our direction. Mars being, like I said, a primal impulse, something where we automatically go toward. It's something that we don't have to think twice about, something that drives us. It's the way that we go about something or our competitive nature, for example. And when Mars is retrograde, it's a time to really rethink and get clear about what motivates us, what we're after, what energizes us, what excites us, what is it that we really want, what are our aims and our objectives. Sometimes we lose sight of what actually motivates us, like our why. Why am I doing something? Why am I here? Why am I at my job? Why do I get up and do this every day? Mars retrograde is a chance for you to sharpen your blade and get clear and aligned with your aims. What are your ambitions, goals, motivations? This is something where we want to figure out where our flame is. We want to light our own fire, basically. So for many of us during Mars retrograde, we're like, gosh, that motivation just isn't there. What do I do about it? And Mars is going to be retrograde for a long time. It begins its retrograde on December 6th at 6 degrees Leo. And it's going to retrograde all the way back to 17 degrees Cancer, stationing direct on February 23rd. So this is 3 months. This is December, January, and February. It is a long time. And the tendency to feel frustrated about, gosh, where is my energy? Or where is my purpose? Where is it? Where is that spark? It can be a really dull time. It can be annoying. It's like, where is this? And that's the purpose of the retrograde, is trying to find it. You have to put in the effort sometimes to find it. But I promise you, by the end of the retrograde, you're going to feel a lot more confident and excited about your direction. So please pay attention to where Cancer is in your chart and where Leo is in your chart. And if you would like more support on the Mars retrograde story for you, if these signs are important sectors of your chart, or let's say if Mars is your time lord for the year, please get on my books in the new year and we can talk about it. That's what I'm here for. That's my bread and butter. I don't just put out this content for free or for fun. I want to connect with you and help you get into alignment with living your best life. I want to help you gain confidence and clarity on your path. And I want to talk about your chart with you and talk about your life with you. So let's do that. If Cancer and Leo are doing a lot of things in your chart, let's talk. This is also a time where if you don't know where your spark is, just chill out, just rest and let it kind of come naturally to you. I think this happening in Cancer, rest is going to be a big part of it. Replenishment is a big part of it. We talked about that a lot in my Mars and Cancer video. So here I want to talk about Leo. I want to talk about the Leo portion of this retrograde here. So Mars in Leo has very different motivations than Mars in Cancer. Mars in Leo is motivated by valor. Mars in Leo is competitive. Mars in Leo wants to be respected. Mars in Leo wants to be celebrated, pat on the back, praised. There's something brave and valiant about Mars and Leo. So people who have Mars and Leo natally, they might be bold, they might be courageous, they might do things that are incredibly eye-catching. They might be competitive, they might be strong. Mars and Leo is a very strong placement. So there's no middle ground here. There's no mids here. Mars and Leo swings hard. And there's a great deal of confidence. There's an aura of confidence with Mars and Leo. So one thing that this transit could do for us is it can help build confidence. Mars and Leo, by the end of this whole story in June, you might find that you have rekindled a sense of inner confidence, a sense of inner strength, a sense of inner knowingness about what it is that you are about and your direction. This is a time to hype yourself up and fake it till you make it, like hype yourself up, say like, you got this. Like, even if you just don't want to go to work that day, you're getting ready, brushing your teeth, like, you got this, boss. Don't be afraid to get cheesy and weird with it. Mars and Leo, while it's retrograde, there might be a crisis of confidence, a crisis of what is it that makes me stand out? What makes me unique and awesome? And you might want to practice like that. You might want to say like, yeah, like, you're fucking awesome. Quit like doubting yourself. That might be a good practice for you when Mars is in retrograde, if you're feeling that. But this can be a time to get clear on your character, build a sense of inner strength. Because Mars is retrograde. A lot of times we can experience this in a deeply personal way. There's a strong sense of pride with Mars and Leo, and we might be seeing that on the world stage, a refusal to look foolish, a refusal to look silly. There's a sense of pride, and sometimes Leo placements can be unbending because they don't want to let go of, I didn't get it correct. I missed the mark, but I don't want to, it's like, I meant to do that. And instead, it can be missing an opportunity to be humbled and to pivot. Sometimes there's a tendency to hold on too strong to something that just didn't work in your favor. So that's something to watch for with Mars retrograde in Leo, is not wanting to admit that you misstepped, not wanting to admit that you could have done it differently in a way that didn't have such a embarrassing impact, let's say, for example. So there's a strong sense of passion and will with Mars and Leo. And like I said, it's kind of unbending and it can be kind of insistent. Like, no, we're doing it this way. We're doing it this way. So that might be something to watch for with Mars and Leo, is just where there's a predominating sense of will and how that can sometimes be an asset, but where that can also sometimes blind us and miss opportunities to do it differently, let's say in a more collaborative kind of way. On the world stage, yeah, we're again going to be working with that Mars Pluto opposition. And there's kind of like this strong unbending of will. Again, like total domineering, total domination, Mars and Leo, unbending, insistent with the authoritarian qualities of Pluto or the intense qualities of Pluto. Like there's no doing it in a medium way. It's blown up, it's blown out. And something that we want to watch for is that Leo represents things that are fancy or regal or let's say presidential. Okay. So buildings that are adorned, ornate buildings, places of respect. These are places where we might see desecration. So I've been looking at this aspect for a while and I'm like, a second insurrection, perhaps. That might be something that we see at some point with Mars and Leo opposite Pluto. So we're going to be seeing that signature in January, early January. We're also going to be seeing that signature at the end of April. Okay, so right around that January 6th date, we are going to see an alignment with Pluto and Mars and Leo. So that is something to watch for. That is something to watch for. So that's most of what I have to say about Mars and Leo for right now. Again, on the world stage, I think we have the right to be concerned with total domination, forces of total domination. That's something that we want to be watchful for. In our own lives, this could be amazing for hyping yourself up, getting clear on the direction and motivation of a project, having like this powerhouse ability to see something through from start to finish. Now, Mars is retrograde, so it's going to be like slow, maybe a slow buildup or something that we have to kind of like work to get clear on how to source that and where to direct that in the specific way. But the energy is going to be available to us and trying to make itself available to us. So try not to get too frustrated or discouraged with Mars and Leo. It's okay to misstep. It's okay to get things wrong. It's okay to do it better the next time. And that's the thing with retrogrades is that we always get a redo, which is awesome. So that's all I have to say about Mars in Leo, Mars retrograde in Leo for right now. We will be revisiting this in 2025 when it comes back. I'm sure we'll have to do another recap on this then, just because things are going to be very different for us by then. So for right now, that's your Mars and Leo astrology shot of the day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine. You can also head on over to my website, catherineurban.com, where you can book your next astrology reading. We'll go into depth into your natal chart, your progressions, your profections, your solar return, your transits, and beyond. You can also join my mailing list where you can stay up to date with me on new classes as well as article drops. I look forward to connecting with you, and I'll see you next time.